Hi, welcome again to Myth Magic Medicine with me, Denise Mejia. And my guest today is Manisha, who originally came here to the US as a physician from Nepal. Thank you so much for coming today. Please tell us how to say your name properly.
Okay. This is Manisha Ghirimre. I am from Nepal originally. I did my medical training there, like medical school there, and then I practiced 1.5 years before I decided to come to United States. My full name is Manisha Ghirimre, just to make sure. So I did my internship here, residency here, and then I have been practicing hospital medicine since then. It's been like almost 7 years since I've been practicing internship, internal medicine here. Sorry.
So you did internal medicine. Did you did you have to the American exams when you were taking them? I assume you also had to take CS, the second part of step 2. Yes. So you had to come. Did you come over here to be with family while you went through all the exams, or did you have to keep going backwards and forwards?
No, so I got married before I came in, so it was kind of easier transition for me because my husband was already resident, so I can live with him and prepare my CS.
And somebody to guide you through the process.
Exactly. So, yeah, I did my step 1 there, and then I did my step 2 CS and here.
Okay. How long did it take to find a residency program? Did you need to stay close to where your husband was, or did you go to a different area to do the residency? It's not easy
So I went to different area. My husband was doing residency in Baltimore, Maryland, and I had to go to New York. So we lived like apart like 3 years. So even when he got his like hospitalist, he was working as a hospitalist, he could not find job in New York, so he has to take somewhere near. So the nearest place was like Philadelphia, so he lived in Philadelphia. So we were like apart for 3 years.
Oh, well, yeah, but not, at least you can get there in less than a day. Yeah, it's not too difficult, 1.5 hours away. So where were you in? Are you talking about New York City?
Yeah, so Montefiore Medical Center, that's where I got my residency. And then we moved to Maryland as a hospitalist, and now I'm in Raleigh, North Carolina.
Oh, yeah, okay. The Golden Triangle, that's wonderful.
Yeah, oh yeah. Keeps us moving. Hopefully this is the last place.
It's a great area. So you wanted to be an internist, or you applied for, that was, you aimed at that?
Yeah, that was the goal. Even if I was in Nepal, I would have done internal medicine. So, I mean, that's what, but usually when the foreign graduate come from Nepal, usually I think the opportunity here is more like internal medicine or pediatrics, like, so usually people tend to apply on those specialty like internal medicine, pediatrics. Some do apply in psychiatrists too, or family medicine. So those like medical field are more, I guess, easily and more
well, they are less lucrative, and therefore they appeal to fewer people, perhaps. But things are changing. You know, a couple of years ago, you couldn't find an ER spot to save your life. And literally.
Now.
And nowadays, people feel differently. So things have their seasons too. And some of it's just luck. You just find the right place. When I was looking, this is a very long time ago, before the match was, I mean, it happened, but not everybody was in the match, and you could still match outside. I did peds, but I always wanted to do peds. But it was shoe leather. I got to know a lot of people. I trained in Manhattan also. I was at St. Luke's.
Okay, nice.
And so people don't hear that too many times. But so what first struck you, because you've been practicing as a doctor in Nepal? What first struck you as strange and American when you got here? Aside from the everybody speaks English and the cars go too fast and everything's too big. But what from a healthcare point of view, what struck you as odd?
I think from the basic, like even like because in Nepal, mostly it is infectious disease. We see a lot of infectious disease cases, like a lot, like it's our day-to-day thing. Here, it's not just the infection. The medicine that we practice there is different than the medicine we practice here. That's, like I said, it's more infectious disease. Here it's overall, like, COPD,
lifestyle
heart disease, like other there it'll be more typhoid and, like, other viral things, so enteric fever basically. So those are the main difference here and there. Also, there people pay for medicine, like all the medical care,
it's
like
cash based.
It's a cash based. Here is insurance based. So that's why if you don't have money, it's very hard to get into like get the treatment there in Nepal, because it's all cash based. Here, at least the emergency part is, like, it's covered by government. So, like, people, if there is an emergency, they can go to emergency and get the treatment.
Even if they don't have cash or insurance, if you go to the emergency room, they have to do something for you.
Yeah, exactly.
But the long-term care is going to be different. But the actual emergency, if it's an emergency, you have to be seen.
Emergency, yeah. So that's different. But the good part about practicing in Nepal is like patient interaction. There is not, when I practice there right now, I think that some of them have like EMR medical record system, but but still, when I was practicing there was no electronic medical system, and it was all handwritten. So we didn't used to spend so much time writing or documenting.
The whole point of going to a computerized system was we would make it faster. Most people type faster than they can write out in longhand. And because then there would be a record that anybody in the system could access.
Exactly.
Now, when in quite a lot of European countries, the patient is given their medical record, and so they walk around with their medical record. Is that the case in Nepal, or do you?
Yes. Okay. Yes. So we give all the paperwork to the patient, and then they take them like wherever they have to go. Some forget, then we have to reinvent the wheel again. But most of the time, if they are like conscious about your health, they usually take all the files, big chunk of files, and go around like to see all the doctors. So that's the case.
Where in Nepal did you practice? I don't know very much geography.
It's
I've heard of. Okay.
So it's a capital of Nepal. So I practiced like 20 miles away from the Kathmandu. It's a main capital of Nepal. So it was 20 miles. My medical school was 20 miles. So not far from the capital of Nepal.
Okay. And is there much difference in what's available in healthcare in the city and in the countryside? Does everybody have to come into the big town?
Yes, like, I mean, if you had to do like heart surgery, like, you have to do cardiac cath or like complicated heart surgery, definitely. But most of the time, like usually surgeries are performed, most of the like non-complicated surgeries are performed there if it's very complicated, obviously. And all the like infectious disease, because everyone knows how to treat them, that's kind of there. Pregnancy related, maternity and all that stuff is also very good, like where I practice. But it depends, like, because my hospital that I worked was not that far from where, like from the city, I guess. So it was it was a medical school, so it did have all the departments, but not all. Like it's very hard to find all the system, everything in place in like rural part of the country, and that's a lot. Like half.
Yeah, well, this is also true of parts of the US.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. All right. So the amount of time that you had to spend dealing with paperwork was the biggest challenge to you?
It was and then just the new system, I practiced in like I moved to Bronx to do my internal medicine, and then just the accent is so different, even like when we are like practicing English, but then when you go to Bronx, the accent is so different, like it's just to understand like what they are saying. Yeah. And then
there's a lot of non, if I was talking to you like this,
yeah,
it's difficult at
thick
first.
voice. Yeah. So it is different.
Did you find patients were patient with your learning colloquial English, or did you feel that it was a disadvantage being from another country?
No, actually it was not. Like I was able to like finally understand and like
yeah, it takes a while. I mean, I've spoken English my entire life. American accents can be difficult, especially in there are some states I'm at a loss.
Yeah, that's right. Even in North Carolina, the accent is slightly different than other part. It was challenging, but it was doable basically. So you can interact with people. Bronx population, it can varies. It was different because people, it was kind of like Nepal almost, because people like didn't know what was going on, like so many of them, like they had so many medical problems and they are not up to date on everything. So in Nepal also, like people, like they go to all the doctors, but they don't really know what exactly is going on with them. Like it's very, very
and they very, very helpfully tell you, I take that little white pill for something.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. So Bronx was kind of like literacy, medical literacy was kind of almost same as Nepal, I would say. You have to like explain. And
were there times when you were actually practicing, when you think, oh, I wish I could do such and such, that you couldn't do, that you would have been able to do in Nepal, other than take time? Because I think the amount of time, we're so time pressed here with our interactions with patients.
Actually, the electronic medical record and insurance was the main thing that I thought like people would have benefited so much, because like every time patient goes to the doctor, someone brings this chunk of paperwork, and like half of them you can't understand what's written there, right? Like people handwriting, doctor, they say doctor handwriting, so it is kind of difficult to understand. So you have to do like all the tests again and trying to figure out everything. So here with the electronic medical record, at least it is easier to know what's going on with the patient. So
it's just such a pain to put the information in the first place.
Yeah,
you have to turn your back to the patient so much to fill out the forms.
Yeah, yes. But in a long run, I think like patient would have benefited. Just they don't have to go through same process. And I wish like at least the emergency medical care would have been at least provided for all the Nepalese people. Like here, like, at least when you are in emergency, you can go to emergency and get at least the emergent care.
Have your life saved, yeah.
Have your life saved. There, it's really hard to even get that done, So it is.
Do you have an established emergency care services? Do you have a good ambulance service to the countryside? Or not?
Not all. Like it is like Nepal, like half of the country is rural, and it's like it is a feel like it's mountain and hill, and I mean it's gorgeous, but like in terms of health care, I think we can do much more.
But then you said that most of the things that you saw were the bulk of people's illnesses were infectious.
Yeah.
And I'm assuming things like TB and those sorts of things.
Yeah, TB, enteric fever.
But here, the bulk of the issues that we deal with, not all, obviously, but they're complicated, even if they're not caused by, they are complicated by lifestyle issues.
Yes.
How does Nepalese lifestyle impact the people's health, both positively and negatively? Walking up and down mountains several times a day might actually be beneficial.
So, I think I know. I think the health-wise, they do like exercise because they walk around so much. They eat healthy. Usually, most of the people have their own garden. They eat their own vegetable and fruits and everything from their garden. So I think like diet-wise, and it's mostly, I mean, people eat non-veg, but mostly it's like a week thing, once a week you have this meat in your house, like goat meat or chicken or something, but it's just once a month. So I think diet wise, it's organic, it's home based. I think it really helps patient, because we are so much focusing on like lifestyle and diet these days. I think Nepalese people have already that in place.
How about practices such as mindfulness and meditation? Does that feature in usual Nepalese life?
So Nepalese people are so, like, most of them are Hindu, right? So they do prayers every morning and every evening. Like they every household do prayers. Not all of them, but like the elders, like mom and dad, like the elders do pray twice a day, every also. So I don't know how you take that as a meditation.
No, I was thinking more like the parts that have been sort of the parts of the Indian subcontinent that have been gentrified over here in the US. So like everybody and their mother does yoga, and those the longer practice of those things. Is that doesn't feature heavily?
No, just whoever like is very into that, they will only do it, but not like every.
It's not common to do that.
Not common. And I think maybe Buddhist does more, because there is like a part of Buddhist community also in Nepal. So they might do more, but not like Hindu population, not much. That I haven't seen much.
Okay. I'm very seriously organic and vegan, so I would love Nepal.
Yeah,
mountains not so much.
You love mountains.
I like looking at them, but walking up and down is a different thing. But most people would walk, where they wouldn't get in the car to go to places mostly.
No, not every people have cars. So even the most common, like when I was growing up, was bicycle. So I used to ride bicycle, like to the school, to the college, to the store, like to the mall, like everywhere. So bicycle was really common. Now it's kind of replaced by motorbike and car. Like nowadays people do have car, but it is expensive. So not everyone have cars, but like whoever is like who can afford, they will have car. But it's mostly like city. I don't think like in the village.
Somebody lived 50 miles from the city or 100 miles from the city. How would they get to the hospital? Is there a bus service that would work, or they find a friend who has a car?
Yeah, so usually that's how it works. That's how we got. They usually have the contact information of someone who has the car, and then if they need, they'll just call them and like, okay, let's transfer. So most of the time that's the case. Like you'll just ask for help, and then there is always someone to help you.
Are most specialists in the different various faculties within the medical school, are they trained in Nepal or in India, or do they train in the UK? Where do they get their specialty training?
Everywhere actually. So India, it's very common. Nepal, there are a lot of fellowship program too. So they do that. Not all, but yeah, most of them are there. And then India is another most common place that they go. Some go to China also. Like some of them. Bangladesh is common. So yeah, mostly like I guess it's mostly Southeast Asia. Some goes to Pakistan. Only if it is advanced fellowship training, like they have to do like 1 or 2 months of like advanced training, then they usually come to US. Like some of my husband friends and some of my friends has come like for that, but most of the other training, Nepal.
So they come under observer status. So
they observe and they do, and they have all their arrangements made. They do that and they go back.
Thank you. So what else would you like to tell us, other than everybody should go to Nepal and visit? What else would you like to tell us? Did you get back much? Did you get back much?
So I go every 2 years. I went last year. During COVID, I could not go like 4 years.
Yeah.
But definitely Nepal is like very beautiful country. Everyone should visit it. It's a different experience than US. Like just the lifestyle and like beauty and everything. People are very nice, generous, and like always ready to help. But make sure you are all treated with all the infectious disease, get all your vaccinations.
Go to travel medicine people first, yeah.
Get travel medicine fixed before you go there. So definitely, because even if you go now there, we can get diarrhea or get sick. So it's very
just
common.
change in water will do that.
I think so. Yeah. I think that's the most important thing. And then keep subscribing in your podcast and give like and subscribe. Oh, I wanted to tell about my so we just started our podcast like 2 weeks ago too. So
congratulations.
Thank
you should have told
you.
me before. We'll go listen right away. So what's your podcast about?
It's about progress with Manisha and Ananta.
That is your husband?
Manisha and Ananta. It's available in both Apple and Spotify. You guys can go and like and subscribe. It is about progress.
I will definitely put that in the show notes and make sure it's captioned when this goes out. So, so it's progress. This is your personal progress, or this is progress of medicine. What's the?
So
like my title, it's a bit of everything.
It's about progress. Initially, right now we are planning to talk about our progress and how we did that, and then eventually we are planning to get the guest who had come to like certain level, like in their life they had been successful, but how do they reach there? Like how was their progress? Or what are the failures they had been through? Like we just wanted to inspire other people so that failure is common when you do things. Like there is always going to be
there's no failure. It's just trying. That wasn't the right way. Try again.
Yeah, exactly. So it's a learning curve, right? So we just wanted to encourage people to keep going. Like you have to just progress, and you'll all ultimately be where you are supposed to be. So
it's the part that an awful lot of use the wrong term, the colloquially used gurus in the business world online. It's visualize this and it will happen. No, visualize this and then make the plan to get to that thing because it takes a lot of work.
Even podcasts, like lot of learning curve, lot of we have been kind of trying to learn all these new things. So it is interesting. It has been
congratulations. I will go listen right away. I wish I'd known before we did this, and I will include it. That's wonderful. Is that the primary side gig that you and your husband have right now? You both help. Is he still a hospitalist?
No, so he's a rheumatologist. So he was practicing as a hospital-based medicine, but now he has his own clinic. So he's running his clinic for last 3-4 months. So that's a new
congratulations on that too. When did you move to North Carolina?
2019.
October,
around end of 2019.
So you've had a time to get used to the area.
So he practiced here almost 2 years, and then now he's transitioning to his own practice. So that's something exciting going on right now. And podcast and me, and I'm also interested in real estate. I'm trying to learn real estate things on the way, which is also a learning curve because I didn't know anything.
And that's something you need to get. Don't just go buy a building. Do your homework before you. That's a big a podcast. Fine, it doesn't cost that much. But
exactly. That's so true. Like podcast, it's fine. You don't spend so much money, but so that's why it's kind of you have to learn and do your thing before you put all your savings there.
But that's something you can discuss on your podcast. This is good.
All
right. Thank you so much. I will let you get on. It's very, very kind of you to join me, and do send me the proper address so I can get it in there. Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Very nice meeting you again. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
you for joining us at Myth Magic Medicine. If you have found this episode useful, you can apply for free CME credit through the link provided in the transcript. If you're not a medical professional, please remember, while we're physicians, we're not your physicians. So please consult with your own healthcare professional if you think something you have heard might apply to you or a loved one. Until next time, bye-bye.